Hey, it's Dave Brown here, host of Now with Dave Brown on AMI. Check out this latest highlight from the show. A virtual platform is aiming to bridge the gap in inclusive hiring by connecting employers to job seekers with disabilities. Here to tell you more about Jobsability Canada is Sue Dafoe, the Business Services Manager at the Ontario Disability Employment Network. Hey, good morning, Sue. Thank you for making time to be with us. We're so grateful.
Thank you. We're very excited to be here.
So this is a really exciting endeavor. Tell us how Jobsability Canada, the recruitment platform, and how it came about.
So Jobsability started in the USA over a decade ago as under the name of Our Ability, which, among other things, offered a traditional job posting board. It was started by a gentleman by the name of John Robinson. And John retired from a successful business career to address some of the barriers he experienced as a person who has a disability when he was looking for work when he graduated. So in 2018, John and Our Ability launched Jobsability after developing the artificial intelligence platform with the University of Syracuse and Microsoft Azure. So the platform uses artificial intelligence to support job seekers in their search and to streamline the recruitment process. So the largest piece of the AI technology for Jobsability is a chatbot, which we call Abby, short for Ability. And so Odin became involved in 2019 with John and his team to bring it to Canada. And so Jobsability Canada finally launched at the end of 2021 after almost a year of development and beta testing with job seekers.
Typically, when people with disabilities are looking for jobs, oftentimes one of the oversights from so many employers is the fact that jobs boards and recruitment sites themselves are inaccessible. What are some of the common barriers that people are facing that the Jobsability platform is aiming to bridge and breach?
So there's several barriers that people with disabilities face on the generic recruitment platforms. The biggest is the inaccessibility both on the external portion of the website and once inside these portals, that there is a lot of inaccessibility. So for instance, barriers range from the lack of integration with screen readers, a lack of embedded accessibility, for instance, to increase font size and adjust contrast colors, and a lack of alt text on images. So, there's many sites that are very visual, or they use things like icons, those cartoon icons, which are very difficult for many screen readers to decipher. And if those sites aren't created properly, they are not user-friendly, but they look pretty from the outside. So in the web community, there are web accessibility minimum requirements that many websites or platforms don't follow. So currently, I think we're sitting at WCAG 2, which is the bare minimum, but there are WCAG 3 requirements that I think in the near future are going to become the norm. So inaccessibility is one. A second barrier is biases in the AI technology that a lot of the mainstream recruitment platforms are using. So for example, many platforms use a negative AI or algorithm that uses criteria to exclude candidates. So one that's very common is if someone has a gap of more than 6 months in their work experience, they're automatically removed from the process. Whereas Jobsability Canada has built the AI much differently. It uses an inclusive model where the algorithm matches with what a job seeker has. So we always explain it as we think about it as an empty bucket. And as a job seeker creates their profile, items are added to their bucket. So they are included based on their skills and abilities, experience, ideal job, not excluded for what they're lacking.
I like that, the idea of sort of building up the candidates as opposed to crossing them off the list, bringing those real abilities to the forefront. Sue, tell me a bit more about your AI chatbot, Abby. This sounds fascinating. It sounds like a nice friend to have inside the platform.
Yes, so Abby works it works a little different. Abby works differently for businesses as for job seekers. So for job seekers, Abby appears on the left-hand side of their screen and provides assistance every step of the way. So Abby is like the top of the line in technology standards right now, that you can talk to Abby, Abby can talk to you. If you have a screen reader, Abby appears, you can type, you can speak, You can enter, type in information. So Abby follows you. So a candidate throughout their journey of creating a profile and searching for jobs can move from requiring Abby's assistance to working independently and back. So Abby's non-intrusive. You don't have to use her if you don't want to, but Abby's there if you need to. So what happens is, as a job seeker creates their profile, Abby in the background is working to provide real-time job matches based on that inclusion AI technology. And so what happens is they get their job matches actually appear on the other side of their screen as they enter more and more information. And the job seeker really works with Abby in terms of those matches. So a job seeker provides feedback to Abby in real time as well. So if a job meets their criteria, they give it a thumbs up. If a job doesn't meet their criteria, they give it a thumbs down. And if they want to save that job to apply later, they click the star button and it goes into their saved job. And what that does is it allows Abby to be constantly learning and improving so that the job matches get better and better as the job seeker updates their profile. And so it's, I guess, an all-around support for the job seeker. And on the business side, Abby streamlines and provides great efficiencies for an employer. So, for instance, on a lot of the other platforms, you have somebody in your HR department that is uploading job descriptions. So if you have 10 jobs or 100 job descriptions, somebody's spending days uploading job descriptions, and they don't have to do that. What happens is the AI goes in, Abby goes in and scrapes from their website and brings all the jobs across into the Jobsability platform, and also goes in and looks at keywords, qualifications required. So the business doesn't have to do that. Abby does that.
Wow.
And also when the job expires, it disappears. Abby will update. So what it does is it alleviates issues that employers are having. So we all know that there are bots out there that will crawl sites and just put a whole bunch of jobs on their site from all different areas. And what happens is when those jobs expire, they don't get taken down. And so job seekers and businesses end up getting very discouraged and very frustrated because as a job seeker, you're applying for jobs that no longer exist. And as an employer, you're getting a ton of applications for a job you're no longer recruiting for. So it becomes a very, very discouraging cycle. And then one last key point I wanted to make about how Jobsability is different than our mainstream is that most mainstream sites, they use a push model. So they post their jobs and they push them out and they wait for candidates to apply. And with Jobsability Canada, we do that, right? The AI goes in and pushes the jobs onto the board, but also employers have access to that candidate pool and they can be proactive and pull and go in and search candidates and reach out to them through the Jobsability Canada portal and let them know they're interested in talking to them about opportunities.
Oh, very neat. This technology sounds sort of beyond belief almost, Sue. I'm really glad you got a chance to lay that out for us. If people are interested, where should they go to learn more about Jobsability Canada?
So it's really easy. It is www.jobsability.ca. And right on the outside of the platform, you'll see Abby on the right-hand side. And if you're an employer, it'll tell you. If you're a job seeker, you click on the job seeker, and it'll navigate to the right areas of the website.
Very cool. Sue, just before I let you go, you guys have a lot of interesting stuff going on in Odin. I just wanted to ask you very quickly about a podcast you and some of your colleagues are working on called You Can't Spell Inclusion Without a D. Just give me the elevator pitch on that podcast for folks once they're done listening to our show today.
Okay, perfect. So You Can't Spell Inclusion Without a D is a podcast that we host on Podbean. And it was launched during our National Disability Employment Awareness Month in October 2022. And so I guess the purpose of the podcast is to have insightful conversations and explore the power of inclusion, disability employment, and other business benefits from all angles. So we try to do those, I would say, 4 or 5 times a year. and they vary on many different topics.
What a great elevator pitch. That's cool. Even if it's more competition in the marketplace for us, we appreciate it because it sounds like it's amazing content. Hey, Sue, thank you for making time for us today. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Do you want to dive into more conversations like this? Watch Now with Dave Brown weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on AMI TV or download the podcasts wherever you listen. Do you want to dive into more conversations like this? Watch Now with Dave Brown weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on AMI TV or download the podcasts wherever you listen.